Abandoned mother dog and her puppies, desperate for help, make a heartbreaking plea for survival. Isabella stood by the window, her gaze lost in the world outside. The evening sky, bathed in soft hues of orange and pink, seemed to glow with life. Yet, inside the four walls of her home, everything felt cold, still, and empty. For years, her heart had been bound by grief, a sorrow so deep that it clung to her like a shadow, refusing to let go. It wasn't supposed to be like this. Isabella's first daughter, Mia, was her world, the light of her life. She had dreams of watching Mia grow, of celebrating milestones together, of sharing the joys of life. But in the blink of an eye, those dreams were shattered when Mia was taken away, leaving only silence and a pain too heavy to bear. The memories of that tragic day, the sterile hospital room, the beeping machines, and the hollow feeling of saying goodbye haunted Isabella every moment of every day. She had tried to heal, tried to move forward, but nothing felt the same. Even Ethan, her loving husband, shared the grief, yet in his quiet way, he too seemed lost in their shared sorrow. The joy they once knew seemed so distant, almost like it had never existed. But then came a moment, a chance encounter that would change everything. One chilly afternoon, Isabella set out for her usual walk, a simple routine that had become her escape from the hollow quiet of her home. She wasn't expecting anything to change, but then she heard it. A sound, a cry, faint and filled with desperation, cut through the silence of the street. Her heart skipped a beat. It was a sound so raw, so full of need, that she couldn't ignore it. Slowly, she turned the corner, her instincts guiding her toward the source of the cry. What she saw stopped her dead in her tracks. There, lying on the cold pavement, was a dog, a mother, weakened and trembling, surrounded by her tiny puppies. The sight was heartbreaking. The mother's eyes wide with fear and exhaustion, her body barely able to support her, and the puppies huddled together, shivering in the cold. Isabella's breath caught in her throat as she took in the scene. She felt a deep, familiar pain in her chest, a pain she had carried since the loss of her daughter. The mother dog, Luna, looked at her with a weary gaze, as if asking for help. Just as Isabella had once wished for someone to save her from her own grief. Without thinking, Isabella rushed to the dog's side, her hands shaking as she gently reached out to Luna. There was a moment of hesitation, but then, as if trusting Isabella completely, Luna nudged one of her puppies toward her, desperate for assistance. This was no longer just about a rescue. This was about healing, both for the dog and for Isabella. In that moment, she knew her life was about to change. Little did she know, this act of kindness would ignite a journey of healing, redemption, and love. Isabella carefully lifted Luna into her arms, her heart pounding with an urgency she had never felt before. The dog's body was frail, its breathing shallow, and Isabella could sense the fear in Luna's eyes. It wasn't just the physical exhaustion that had taken a toll on the mother dog. It was the emotional weight of having been abandoned, left to fend for herself and her puppies on a cruel and unforgiving street. As she carried Luna inside her home, a strange yet comforting thought crossed Isabella's mind. Maybe this was a new beginning for both of them. Perhaps the universe had brought them together for a reason. Two souls, lost in their own suffering, finding each other just when they needed it most. In the warmth of the living room, Luna's small family settled on the soft cushions Isabella had prepared. She quickly got to work, offering food, water, and blankets to Luna and her puppies. As the small creatures nuzzled up to their mother for warmth, Isabella watched in awe at the raw instinct and love Luna displayed. Despite the pain she had endured, she still fought to protect her babies. Isabella sat back, taking a deep breath. The sense of urgency remained in her chest, but there was something else, a spark of hope. The quiet house, once filled with the echo of grief, now seemed to hum with the energy of something new, something worth fighting for. It wasn't just about rescuing Luna and her puppies. It was about the possibility of healing, of rebuilding what was broken. Ethan arrived home later that evening, his eyes immediately landing on Luna and her puppies curled up by the fireplace. He stood still for a moment, his expression unreadable. Isabella knew what he was thinking. He had always been more cautious, more reserved. But the look in his eyes softened as he watched the tiny creatures. "I didn't expect this," Ethan finally said, his voice quiet but filled with wonder. "I didn't either," Isabella replied, her hand gently brushing the fur of one of the puppies. "But I couldn't leave them out there." Ethan nodded, his gaze never leaving the small family before them. They both knew the responsibility that lay ahead. The puppies would need care, Luna would need recovery, and they too would need to heal. This wasn't just about rescuing animals, it was about saving themselves in the process. There would be sleepless nights, challenges, and difficult decisions ahead, but Isabella was ready. They were ready. With each passing day, the weight of responsibility grew heavier, but so did their bond with Luna and her puppies. The dog's trust in them was something they had to earn, yet in those quiet, intimate moments, it was as though Luna knew she had found her sanctuary. Isabella felt something stirred deep within her, something she had long since buried. Weeks passed, and Luna began to show signs of recovery. She grew stronger, her fur began to shine again, and her eyes, once dull with fear, were now filled with a gentle spark. But just when things seemed to be settling, a new surprise arrived. One evening, while Isabella was tending to the puppies, Luna's eyes locked with hers, and the dog let out a soft whine, almost as if to tell her something was wrong. Isabella noticed immediately. Luna's belly was rounder than usual. Could it be? Pregnant again? Luna had been through so much, and yet, here she was, carrying another life. The realization was overwhelming. It wasn't just the miracle of Luna's survival that amazed Isabella. It was the miracle of new life, something so fragile and precious, appearing against all odds. Isabella rushed to get Ethan, who was equally stunned by the news. The first miracle of hope had begun in their home. Luna wasn't just healing physically, but emotionally too, as she began to bond with the new life growing inside her. She wasn't the only one. Isabella felt a new sense of purpose. This pregnancy was a sign that life could always find a way to continue, no matter the hardships. As they watched Luna and her puppies together, Isabella turned to Ethan, her heart swelling with emotion. This is what we needed." Ethan smiled softly, his hand brushing against hers. A new beginning. And for the first time in a long time, Isabella believed it. The days had passed, and while Luna's recovery seemed miraculous, there was something about her past that kept nagging at Isabella's mind. Luna's gaze, often distant and filled with an unspoken sorrow, seemed to hold more than just the trauma of abandonment. It was as though the dog carried a dark secret, something she wasn't ready to share, something that Isabella felt compelled to understand. Isabella couldn't shake the feeling that Luna's arrival in her life was more than just a chance encounter. There had to be a reason why fate had brought them together at such a pivotal moment in Isabella's own healing process. The connection they shared was undeniable, but the more Isabella thought about it, the more the weight of Luna's silence seemed to linger. One rainy afternoon, as she sat beside Luna, gently brushing her fur, she noticed something odd. A small, almost invisible scar on the dog's side caught her eye. It was a mark that seemed too deliberate to be an accident. A perfect circle, as if something had pressed into Luna's skin. Isabella's heart began to race. Could it be? Had Luna been hurt by something, or someone, on purpose? The question lingered in Isabella's mind, but it wasn't until one evening, while she was searching through a drawer, that she found something that made her blood run cold. Beneath the papers and old photos, hidden at the bottom of the drawer, was a note, crumpled and faded with time. Her hands trembled as she unfolded it. It was a message, written hastily, yet the words were clear. Do not let her get close. She knows too much. If she remembers, there will be consequences. Isabella's breath caught in her throat. The note had been written in a hurried, almost frantic hand, and there was no mistake. The she referred to Luna. What did she know? And why was there such a desperate warning against her remembering? The mystery surrounding Luna deepened, and Isabella knew that this was no longer just about healing or providing a safe haven for a dog and her puppies. There was a bigger picture at play, something much more dangerous than she had ever imagined. Determined to uncover the truth, Isabella began to dig deeper into Luna's past. She contacted local shelters, veterinarians, and animal rescue groups. What she uncovered shocked her to the core. Luna wasn't just a stray. She had once belonged to a well-known breeder, a woman who had a reputation for running a lucrative but illegal operation. The breeder's business had been exposed years ago, but Luna had vanished before the authorities could intervene. As Isabella pieced together the information, it became clear. Luna wasn't just a victim of abandonment. She had been part of something darker, something that had left scars, physical and emotional, that no one could have imagined. The breeder had used Luna to breed puppies for profit. But when Luna had started to resist, when she began to fight back against the abuse, she had been discarded as if she were nothing more than a tool. Isabella's heart broke for Luna all over again. No animal should ever endure such cruelty, and yet Luna's past was riddled with it. But what shocked Isabella more was that Luna had managed to escape. She had fought back, had survived, and had managed to find her way to Isabella. It was as though Luna had known, even in her darkest moments, that there was someone out there who would understand, who would love her despite her painful past. And then it all clicked. The note, the scar, the warning. Someone wanted Luna silenced, and they had tried to make sure she never found peace. But Luna's strength, her resilience, had led her to Isabella, where she would finally find the love and safety she deserved. As Isabella sat with Luna that evening, her mind raced with the newfound knowledge. Luna wasn't just a survivor. She was a symbol of strength, courage, and the unwavering will to overcome even the most devastating of circumstances. The pieces of the puzzle had come together, and though the truth was horrifying, it gave Isabella a sense of clarity. Luna's presence in her life wasn't just a coincidence, it was fate. Together, they would face the challenges ahead, and together, they would heal. Despite the darkness that hung over Luna's past, Isabella knew there was hope. Every day spent with Luna and her puppies was a testament to the resilience of life, to the healing power of love. But the scars, both visible and invisible, ran deep. Isabella couldn't help but wonder, would Luna ever truly be free from the shadows of her past? Could love alone heal such profound pain? One evening, as Isabella sat beside Luna, brushing her fur and listening to the soft sounds of the puppies playing nearby. Luna's eyes met hers, unblinking, intense. It was a gaze that seemed to carry all the weight of the world, yet there was something in it, a flicker of peace, a glimmer of hope. Isabella felt a connection with Luna unlike anything she had ever experienced. It was as though Luna knew what Isabella needed, just as much as Isabella knew Luna's heart. And then it happened. Luna, who had always been reserved, suddenly stood up and walked over to Isabella, nudging her gently. It was as if Luna was asking her to see beyond the surface, to understand her pain, but also her strength. With trembling hands, Isabella pulled Luna closer, holding her tightly, feeling the tremors of emotion run through them both. In that moment, Isabella realized something she had not fully understood before. Healing wasn't just about fixing broken things. Sometimes it was about embracing the brokenness, accepting it, and allowing love to fill the cracks. Luna had been through more than anyone should ever endure, but she had survived. And now, with Isabella by her side, she was beginning to heal. Together, they would create a new beginning, one filled with hope, love, and the promise of a brighter future. But just as things seemed to settle into a peaceful rhythm, the dark shadow of Luna's past returned. Isabella received an anonymous phone call late one night, a voice on the other end that sent chills down her spine. The person warned her that Luna's past wasn't finished with her yet, that the breeder, the one who had caused all the pain, was not going to let her go without a fight. Isabella's heart raced as the voice on the phone spoke of how Luna had once been part of a network that was still very much active, and now they wanted her back, alive or dead. The message was clear. Luna would never be free unless Isabella made a choice. Torn between her love for Luna and the danger that loomed over them, Isabella knew she couldn't allow Luna's past to dictate her future. It was time to make a stand. She couldn't let the same darkness that had haunted Luna's life continue to haunt their future. That night, Isabella called in the authorities, but Luna's instincts were sharper than any police radar. As the officers arrived, they were met with a scene that no one had anticipated. Luna, with all the fierce courage she had gathered in her time with Isabella, stood her ground, protecting her new family at all costs. Her bark was powerful, her posture unwavering. It was as if she had finally realized that no one could take away her happiness, her peace, her new beginning. Luna's final stand wasn't just against the people who had hurt her. It was against everything that had ever threatened her sense of safety and love. In that moment, she became more than just a dog who had survived. She became a symbol of defiance, strength, and the unyielding desire to protect the ones you love, no matter the cost. As the authorities handled the situation, Isabella held Luna close, feeling her pulse steady beneath her touch. Luna had done it. She had stood up for herself, for her puppies, and for the life she had fought so hard to build. The darkness that had once haunted her was now a distant memory, swept away by the overwhelming force of love and loyalty. As time passed, Luna's journey continued to unfold in ways that no one could have predicted. The broken, fearful dog that Isabella had found on the side of the road had transformed into a symbol of strength, love, and resilience. The healing process, while slow, was nothing short of miraculous. Luna's once haunted eyes now sparkled with the light of trust and security, and the scars that marked her body were no longer just reminders of her painful past, but proof of her survival. Isabella watched in awe as Luna's personality blossomed, revealing the joyful, playful spirit that had been buried beneath years of abuse. With each passing day, Luna grew stronger, not only physically, but emotionally. The puppies, who had once been fragile and vulnerable, now thrived under Luna's care and Isabella's love. They had become a testament to the healing power of a mother's devotion. Luna's maternal instincts had taken on a new depth. Protective, loving, and nurturing, she had created a safe haven not just for her puppies, but for everyone in the household. Isabella marveled at the strength of this bond, recognizing how much she herself had been transformed by Luna's resilience. The woman who had been devastated by the loss of her own daughter now found herself in a new role, one of caregiver and protector, bound to Luna by a love that transcended the pain they both had experienced. Together, they had built something beautiful, a sanctuary where both human and animal could heal. Inspired by Luna's transformation and the profound impact she had had on their lives, Isabella and her family decided to establish a foundation dedicated to rescuing and rehabilitating abused and abandoned animals. They called it the Hope Foundation, a tribute to the healing power of love, patience, and second chances. The foundation began small, with Isabella and her family working tirelessly to provide shelter and care for animals in need. Luna, now a symbol of the Foundation's mission, became the face of their efforts. She visited schools, shelters, and adoption centers, bringing hope and awareness to those who were unaware of the suffering that so many animals endured. Luna's story touched the hearts of countless people, inspiring them to adopt, volunteer, and contribute to the cause. It wasn't just about saving animals. It was about giving them a chance to live the life they deserved, one filled with love, care, and a chance to heal from their trauma. Isabella poured her heart into the foundation, knowing that Luna's legacy would continue long after she was gone. Years passed, and the once fragile and broken Luna had become an icon of survival, hope, and healing. The Hope Foundation grew into a beacon of light, offering a new lease on life to countless animals who had faced the same pain and uncertainty Luna had once known. It was a place of refuge, a sanctuary for those who had been abandoned and forgotten. One day, as Isabella sat in the yard with Luna by her side, watching the puppies play in the distance, she couldn't help but reflect on how far they had come. From the moment she found Luna on that lonely road, they had been on a journey together, and now that journey had come full circle. Luna had healed, and in the process, she had helped heal so many others. Luna was no longer just a survivor. She was a symbol of what could be achieved through love, patience, and unwavering faith. And as she lay next to Isabella, with the sound of the puppies playing around them, Isabella knew that the legacy of love and healing they had built together would live on forever. Luna had found her peace, her family, and her purpose. And now, through the foundation, her story would continue to inspire others for generations to come. As the years passed, Isabella often found herself reflecting on the unexpected journey that had led her to Luna. It seemed like such a simple moment, finding a wounded dog on the side of the road, but it had turned into something so much greater than she could have ever imagined. Their lives had intertwined in a way that no one could have predicted, but the bond they shared had proven to be one of the most powerful forces in her life. Isabella thought about the pain they both had endured, Luna's past full of neglect and suffering, and her own grief over the loss of her daughter. Yet, through that pain, they had found each other. Together, they had discovered a new kind of love, one that was born not out of perfection, but out of survival, healing, and mutual understanding. Luna had taught her the true meaning of resilience. She had shown Isabella that even the deepest wounds could heal with time, care, and love. And in return, Isabella had offered Luna the one thing she had been denied for so long: a safe place to love and to be loved in return. Sitting beside Luna in their peaceful yard, surrounded by the sounds of life and love, Isabella realized that the journey they had taken together was not just about rescuing a dog. It was about rescuing each other. The bond they shared had gone beyond the surface of what they had been through. It was about trust, patience, and the unwavering belief that even after the darkest times, love could always find a way. Luna's story was not just one of survival, but of the transformative power of compassion. Through their journey, Isabella learned that love could heal more than just broken bodies. It could heal hearts, minds, and spirits. It could bridge gaps between past pain and future hope, showing that compassion, when given freely, could change the course of an entire life. In Luna's story, we see the truth that sometimes the most unexpected bonds are the ones that heal us the most. Compassion doesn't just reside in grand gestures. It lives in the quiet moments, in the act of sitting beside someone who needs you, in offering a second chance when no one else will. It's about understanding that we all have scars, whether they're physical or emotional, and that we all deserve a chance to heal, to love, and to be loved in return. Through Luna's legacy, Isabella and her family have shown the world that compassion isn't just about rescuing animals. It's about fostering a world where love, understanding, and second chances are possible for all. It's a reminder that even in the face of adversity, kindness and love can lead to miracles. Luna's story isn't just her own. It's a reflection of the power we all have to change the lives of those around us, simply by showing compassion. And as Isabella watched Luna rest peacefully by her side, she knew one thing for certain: love truly is the most powerful force of all.